All right, we're here on Radio Row, but the Buffs 2025 schedule is officially out. We're going instant reactions, RK, Jake, Scott here, and I'll get us started, boys. This schedule starts with 4 out of 5 games at home, and a lot of times you see that and you're like, oh no, this is going to be unbalanced to be super backloaded with away games, but the way this thing kind of shook out with 7 home games on the schedule, you start with 4 or 5 at home, and then you still never play back-to-back road games throughout the whole season. I think this is a huge break for them, especially for a team that's going to be breaking in a new quarterback, whether that's Caden Salter or Juju Lewis. The fact that you get to start with kind of like a nice homecoming, 3 straight weeks, you go 1 on the road, you're back at home, and then you never have to go on some crazy stretch of road games. I really like the way that came out.
7 home games, but you get at least 9 recruiting weekends with this slate because you have 2 games in Texas, week 6 against TCU and then week 3 against Houston. Massive recruiting grounds for this team. This recruiting staff has been out there pretty heavily the last 2 seasons. Telling those 2 teams right now, do not load up your recruiting section when Colorado comes to town. Do not do it.
Period, man. Similar to what you said, I just love how this shakes out the early part of the schedule. Breaking in a new quarterback, there's going to be a lot of new, both sides of the ball. And just the way this shakes out with Georgia Tech, which should be a tough season opener, a challenging game. Delaware, you get Houston, your kind of first Big 12 game, kind of out of the way early. And the back end of it, you get a bye week kind of going into those final 2 weeks, which I think those final 2 games against Arizona State and Kansas State could have huge Big 12 championship game implications. So it's going to be nice to have that late bye week to kind of go into a real crucial stretch. I really like how this is shaking out for the Buffs right now.
The 2 bye weeks, too, kind of a similar stretch as to last year, right? That weird 3-game stretch right in the middle of the season. We said that would kind of define their season, and it really kind of did. They lost that K-State game, but this time, Utah, Arizona, West Virginia, 2 out of 3 on the road in that 3-week stretch. That will be crucial to get to bowl eligibility and beyond.
Yeah, kind of a weird, quirky thing, too, with the Houston game coming in week 3. To me, it's total national TV setup. When everyone else is playing, Delaware State or whatever, you've got Houston on the schedule there. That one will be national TV. And then I kind of like that you get a little taste of conference play. Then you get Wyoming back at home. That works out well for them. And like you guys mentioned, the end of the season, I feel like this schedule was really built for TV. And it's no surprise with the Buffs, but at the end of the season, feels like the Big 12 is putting a little bit of confidence in Colorado. They're going to be competing by going ASU, KSU to finish the season. Like you said, the conference kind of hoping that those have big-time Big 12 title game implications.
So 2 games I'm looking forward to for sure. BYU, that rematch of the Alamo Bowl. I think it was week 5 or week 6. And then obviously, too, as well, Utah. I believe Colorado hasn't won in Salt Lake City since about 2011. I think they're 0-6 since then. Obviously, Utah was one of the most disappointing teams in the conference last year, but adding a new quarterback out of transfer portal, Devin Dampier from New Mexico, accounted for almost 4,000 total yards of offense. That's going to be a hell of a game down there in Salt Lake City, and that would be a huge boost for the Buffs if they're able to steal one there on the road.
Yeah, all the top teams that you missed this year because of the schedule, and you get this year. You get BYU, Iowa State, ASU, so it's going to be fascinating to see where they line up in that order because if you want to compete for a Big 12 title, it seems like you're going to have to beat those teams.
All right, we'll talk a lot more about this at 1 o'clock Mountain Time on the show, but there's our instant reactions to the Buffs 2025 schedule.